Did you know that in 1500 we got Machiavelli's Prince, we got the Gomerite Coverdale Bible that spiritualized the word Christ and anointing, turning it into some religious concept versus a medical application, which I'll show you in a second. And then we got the Gomerite King James Demonology book before he came out with his King James Bible. And from it, we've got, of course, the egregores of that global Christianity has emerged, created for us, you could say, which I've done in previous videos. But indeed, modern Christianity is of the Dark Ages and the Kali Yuga. Oh, man. So the Dark Ages ran from about 500 to 1500, depending upon who you read. So here you can see Middle Ages. Some say it ended earlier, but Middle Ages were the Dark Ages. And it turns out that these Dark Ages line up perfectly with the Hindu Kali Yuga. Really interesting. So this is an image that I adapted from Yuktesvar's Holy Science, where it shows the 24,000 Yuga cycle. Now, whether any of this is true or not, it's not really important. I'm just showing you what's available for us to look at. So if we look at when because we are now in the ascending. See, we are now in here. So according to the Yuga cycle, we are in the ascending Yuga cycle. Here's the descending cycle. Now Satya, Treta, Dvapara, Kali. This is high-minded, less high-minded, getting towards like, not so high-minded. This is pure darkness. Kali Yuga is the Yuga, the age of darkness. And the Kali Yuga, the descending Kali Yuga began at 701 BC to 500 AD, and then from 500 AD to 1699. So when did the Coverdale Bible come out? In the middle of the Kali Yuga. Christianity as we know it today came out in the middle of Kali Yuga and the Dark Ages. They still are maintaining Dark Ages beliefs. So what's the Kali Yuga? It is believed to be able to... There are variable ways to look at the years for the Yuga cycle. So the present age really is no longer Kali Yuga. But we can see Kali Yuga is full of conflict and sin. Sounds like today, doesn't it? Well, we're at the end. We just kind of left it. We're like right here. So we're still in the domain of evil, according to emerging out of evil and darkness and ignorance, according to the Yuga cycles. And the Dark Ages ended around 1500, and for 200 more years we suffered until the Age of Reason kicked in 1685. And here it is, 1685, the Age of Reason kicked in. This is when Thomas Jefferson, Thomas Paine, all those guys during the Renaissance, the Enlightenment. The Renaissance was before, obviously. Then the Enlightenment. To what? To pull people out of the oppression of dogmatic and alleged divinely inspired church and state, particularly state, right? The divine right of kings. So all this came out during the divine right of kings when Machiavelli wrote his book in the middle of the Dark Ages to keep people controlled. That's the religion of Christianity today. Dark Age beliefs and Kali Yuga thinking were strong still in 1693 during the Kali Yuga that did not end until 1699, 1700. Look at this, Christianity's Salem witch hunts, pure Kali Yuga Dark Ages. And this is King James' book again on demonology. It is a Dark Ages religion, what they're running around doing today. And that's why it's so objectionable to so many people who are not zogrond, dogmatized by it. So this is the Virginia Statute of Religious Freedom. You can see who did it. Thomas Jefferson disestablished the Church of England, which also pushed, obviously, demonology. But these are the Puritans in Salem, and they also were pushing demonology. So therefore, guaranteed freedom of religion no matter what. Look at this, for all denominations of Christians, Jews, Muslims, Hindus, etc. So we're not supposed to we were not founded on Christianity, not even close. It's well documented, particularly in the Treaty of Tripoli from 1797. So we can see for sure that Christianity is a Dark Age, Kali Yuga religion. There is no way around it. Throughout the 15th and 19th centuries, European Gomerites were forced forced their fake Gomerite version of Christianity onto the world. Before that, we had the Crusades, rather the Inquisitions. If you don't believe our made-up religion, we're going to kill you, put you on the rack and stretch you out, pull you apart. That is Dark Ages Kali Yuga Christianity, where we got this from. This Coverdale Bible is the Bible, we are told right here from Etymology Online, Etym Online. Anoint, which means rub ointment on the skin. That's all it means. And Christos, a drug, were both spiritualized, well, they're together, and weaponized in the 1535 Coverdale Bible right here, which came out a couple of years after Machiavelli wrote The Prince. What does it mean, anoint? Anoint, let's go right here. Originally, anoint, so originally, anoint was in reference to grease or oil smeared on for what? Medicinal purposes. Medicinal purposes. Did I make this up? No. I had no idea about this shit until I started looking. I can't believe it. So, well, I can't believe it now, obviously. I couldn't believe it then. I'm like, holy shit. So medicinal purposes is what a Christos is. So its used in the Coverdale Bible in reference to Christ was what? So Christ, anoint, spiritualized the word, took it out of the realm of simply a medicinal application to a made-up religious worldview called, we should call it Dark Ages or Kali Yuga Christianity. Made up BS to control the population a la Niccolo Machiavelli. So here we are. We have our Gomerite, King James, demonology book, Gomerite, King James, appropriated, right, from the Shemites, King James Bible. And we have, so this was 1611, and then 100 years later, they're still killing people for the same Dark Ages beliefs. It's unbelievable. There's no difference today. They see demons where they don't exist. It's mind-boggling, this religion. So let's look at from when did classical antiquity end? You can see about 500 AD is when it ended. So before 500 AD was the classical age. It ended when Christianity initiated the Dark Ages in 500. It lasted until 1500 with the religion lasting till today. So think about the Renaissance that preceded the Enlightenment, started before 1400, maybe earlier, to combat the Dark Ages created by Christianity that was codified by the Coverdale Bible in 1535, and also in demonology by King James and his Bible. And they delivered this Dark Ages we live in via Machiavellian text and have been doing it for hundreds of years. The Age of Reason was also called the Age of Enlightenment. So modern Christians to this day have rejected the Age of Reason. And Thomas Jefferson said, do not touch the Bible until your reasoning skills and knowledge of history are adequately established before you pick up and look at the Bible. That's what Thomas Jefferson said. So let's look at this a little bit differently. So here we have the Age of Enlightenment called what? The Age of Reason. The Age of Reason, 1685 to 1850. Well, the Kali Yuga didn't officially end until when? Like 1700, we'll call it. So the Age of Enlightenment was taking place at the end of the Kali Yuga. So what do we know about this? Well, in 1535, the Gomerite Coverdale Bible spiritualized Christ, a medicated ointment, and spiritualized the word anointing. Modern age Christianity is a manufactured religion and a product of the Dark Ages and Kali Yuga. It is undeniable based upon the historical evidence that we can clearly see before us. That's not disputed. Dark Ages, 500 to 1500, Kali Yuga, 700 BC until 1700 AD. So that's when Christianity emerged. It's a Dark Age religion. Before 1500 AD, it was called the Dark Ages or the medieval ages, and it was called the Kali Yuga by the Vedantins and the Hindus, and perhaps the Buddhists as well. So it was during this time period that we got the demonology book. What a shocker. That basically made demon fear a religion. Demon fear. Do you know where the original word demon even came from? Christians have no idea. It came from daemon, which is a Greek word, daemon. So if you go here, this would be, if we just translate these letters to English, this is D-A-I-M-O-N. You get rid of the A-I, put an E in there, you got demon. So what did daemon originally mean? You can see Homer, so long before the Bible ever came about, a god or goddess is a daemon. One's own daemon or genius, one's lot of fortune. Now, of course, you could be an evil genius, right? You're the daemon. You are either good or bad. Like you are. Here, look, the departing souls. I should say here, I'll show you about departing souls. But then what happened? Then what happened? Here we go. Here, any departed soul is a daemon. So I am a daemon talking to you who's listening through your false self, the skin suit, who is a daemon, according to the ancient Greeks. Socrates' genius was a characteristic of a daemones. Now, when did this BS about demons emerge? It was made up in the Dark Ages by the Dark Ages Kali Yuga religion of Christianity, by King James and his buddies. It's a made-up religion. Satan is a made-up. It was just adversary. What was it? I think it was Jonathan, where Jesus says, "Get behind me, Satan," talking to Peter. He wasn't a demon. It was the adversary. That's all Satanas meant back then. It's been religified by Christians. Christianity is responsible for the demonology fears that exist today. It's literally a religion of demonology or fear of demonology. Let's look at daemonen or daemonion. Divine power, divinity, inferior divine being, applied to what? The genius of Socrates, the great Socrates. Evil spirit, it became with the Bible. Not so much the Old Testament, without question, the New Testament. It's a made-up religion. They made up demons. They spiritualized drugs. It is a religion of the Dark Ages, and people today still don't seem to get it. Here you are again, where you started before that little past all that information. Well, what else do we know about this? Well, it's kind of scary. So I'll show you in a second how people react today. So anoint means to rub ointment on the skin. And a Christos is a drug. They were spiritualized and weaponized during the Kali Yuga, during the Coverdale Bible, during the Dark Ages. This is from Etymology, again, online. We are told Christos, Christ, is what? Refers to the anointed one, meaning what? It's spiritualized, right? It's took out of the realm of the material world, which is a greasy or oil, a medicated oil or grease. They turned that away from a drug and they spiritualized into meaning something religious, non-material, and God. Complete BS made up in the Dark Ages before most people could even read. Right? Because before the Coverdale Bible, it was in Latin. No one in Europe could read it unless they read Latin. And who did that except for the clergy? Nobody. It is a manipulation of the state. Church and state are one. That's why we have Thomas Jefferson separated the two. But Christians today don't seem to realize that. And it was during this Kali Yuga, Dark Ages, that the Dark Age Kali Yuga, well, really right here, right? The Dark Age Kali Yuga, geez, all the way. Yeah, it starts. All these Inquisitions were started in the Kali Yuga. So it's unbelievable what this religion is. A Dark Ages Kali Yuga, the most evil period in earthly cycles, is when Christianity emerged. So we know for sure. I'm going to change this, right? Because we know Middle Ages, better call what it is. Dark Ages, Kali Yuga. So this is from the Truman Show, right? We accept the reality of the world with which we are presented. And we are living in a type of egregore right now. Now, if I say type, it may not be the exact version of what this guy says, but this hyperstitionized state that we live in, based upon what? A belief in a perverted Bible where they spiritualized a drug term. And then who really capitalized on that? The demonologist King James, where they made this thing that did not exist other than being as an adversary, nothing to do with the spirit floating around embodying people. That's all made up by Christianity. It's made up by Christianity because they cannot handle what the word Christos means. So if you go into the Liddell Scott James Greek English Lexicon, this is the online version at perseustufts.edu, put out by the classicist at Tufts University. Pharmakon is where you find the drugs that were applied when? Back at the time of Homer and before. So a drug, a medicine is pharmakon. So how are they applied? Well, they can be applied as ointments. Remember, outwardly applied as ointments. What are these ointments called? Christa, Enchrista, Epichrista were the ointments. These are plasters. The outward drugs were ointments called Christs and plasters called, what's this called? Pasta. This is a cataplaston. This here is actually a poultice. It's a poultice. So, and then taken inwardly, you could eat them or drink them. That is what a Christ is. It is, you cannot get away from it. There's no way around it. And what I do here, if I was in the online Perseus area and I clicked on Christa, I would come to this, where I would see this. So you see I put in red. This is a chi, which is a Christ, Christ. This says Christ. This says Christ. Now these crazy theologians and what's the best word to use for these guys? Because they're zogron, they're brain dead, right? They're brainwashed. They cannot handle this. They think that because of the OS, the eta, and the on changes the meaning of the word. Doesn't change anything. A Christ is a salve. This just modifies it for, however, the grammatical action of the use of the salve. So, how long ago was a salve language instituted? Late Bronze Age. When was the Dark Ages? This is a fairy tale. This anointed one business is a fairy tale that came about in the Dark Ages. So almost 3,000 years later. So for 3,000 years, up until 1400, this was not used. Christos meant a medicated salve applied to the surface, as we can see here, medicinal purposes. Late 14th century, so 1300s. And so it was spiritualized then and codified, you could say, in the Coverdale Bible in 1535. This is the origin of it. Now, why can't people take this? It's because it crushes their fairy tale, and all they have is their fairy tale. So they're going to deal with, to accept this, they've got to go through a paradigm shift, which can be very difficult for some people, as you're seeing in the responses in my video. So here's what I did in a recent video that I did, showing again this relationship of what Christos means based upon me just simply cutting and pasting from the LSJ English Greek lexicon that is put online by the classics department at Tufts University. So this guy's trolling me. So I've asked him like 6 times, 5 times. Once again, the answer is a simple yes or no. Is this statement correct? The pharmaca applied outward were Christa, Enchrista, Epichrista ointments. Is this correct? Where I'm asking him from the LSJ. This guy claims to be a Greek expert. So in other words, are Christa, etc., ointments, yes or no? Simple yes or no question. It could be yes, here's why, no, here's why. What does this guy say? He is a rejecter of the age of reason and a defender of the dark ages and Kali Yuga. Look what he says. He says, I'm inventing new spellings for substantive adjectives, which is a form of nominalism. He thinks I'm making this language up when all I did was cut and paste it right from the LSJ. So you can see how zogron these Christians are. They're defending a Dark Ages Kali Yuga religion that's based upon blood, guts, war. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. I've did many videos about Christian brain damage syndrome because they reject the yoke. Whether the book is true or not, which of course most people think is a fairy tale, the recommendations by Jesus are great, right? Become innocent, guileless like a child. Become pure in heart. Become unselfish and become non-materialist, passing by, as opposed to what? Emperor's new clothes believers who think that God can actually anoint somebody. How can God anoint anybody? God would have to come out of the ether, if there was such a God, and apply ointment on the skin so you could be anointed by God. Otherwise, it's a pure fairy tale from the Dark Ages, and believers today are still believing it. They think Trump was anointed by God. It's amazing. And this crazy chick is striking a pose. She thinks she's really feeling the Holy Spirit as this crazy guy. Yeah, right. Like you can feel the immaterialness of the ether coming down on your hands. These people are completely trapped in a Dark Ages, Kali Yuga religion without knowing it. And they push it on each other. And they push on the rest of us. They push on the world. And they have no idea that what they're pushing on is a weaponized Dark Age religion that emerged in the Kali Yuga. What an embarrassment for for these people. And here we go, just the final one. I forgot I had the final, but here we go. You can see it is absolutely a Dark Ages religion. I thought the last slide was the final one. It wasn't. So sorry for the ending that wasn't good. Like most of my things are just, one-shot deals anyway, but the information is the information. And unfortunately, the Dark Age believers reject it with vigor.